My dear son Benjamin told me a good way to celebrate the 10th anniversary of our factory would be to tell you a beautiful story, our story, the story of La Guitars, but also the story of Algam, without which there would be no more history for LAG. But I will start by handing over to Antoine Kimmel. On top of his commercial skills, our friend Antoine is a great guitarist, an excellent singer, but also a great storyteller. That's why I asked him to give me a hand in order to let me breathe, because it's a long story. On to you, Antoine. I will let you start the beautiful story of Algam and LAG guitars.
Once upon a time, there was a young student who fell madly in love with the music of the Andes. He preferred playing his quena, the traditional Indian flute, to attending the university, which he found indescribably boring. He quickly understood that he was better at making instruments than playing them. His small business, created with the sole investment of an electric drill, a few reeds, and most of all, a lot of passion, was an immediate success and quickly turned into a real factory. Employing up to 50 people, folk music was in full swing, and many were the traditional musical instruments that came to enrich the initial product range. The beautiful story would undoubtedly have been much different if it had not been for the strategic change that took place in order to ensure the sustainability of jobs at the company. Now it is my turn to hand over to the man himself, since, as you would have guessed, the young student in our story is none other than Gérard Garnier, the founder of the Algam Group, who is also celebrating an anniversary this year.
Absolutely. In 2021, we celebrate two important dates. Not only the 10th anniversary of our beautiful factory in Wujing, but also the 50th anniversary of Algam. And believe me, I'm very sad not to be able to celebrate this double anniversary with all of you because of this damn COVID. But let's go back, my dear Antoine, if you don't mind, to this strategic change that you have just mentioned. Back in the days, it was unpredictable how long the music style our jobs depended on would be popular. So it seemed very relevant to add to our manufacturing activity a wholesale business. This is how we turned to importing guitar strings, accessories, and then musical instruments from all over the world. 1978 marked a major step in the destiny of the company when I was entrusted with the distribution of Takamine guitars in France, followed by the very prestigious at the time Ovation brand in 1980. I understood that acoustic guitars were inevitably evolving towards electroacoustics. And I was never going to give up, as the distribution of these Japanese and American guitars, pioneers of electroacoustics, would become the backbone of Algam. And above all, I was going to contribute strongly to the success of Takamine by developing an original design for a series which I named with a very French word, Les Naturels, natural series in English. My passion for manufacturing and design especially was going to give the brand wings, since this series born in France will end up representing up to 30% of Takamine's production. To these two brands was added a third one, Taylor, making Algam the undisputed specialist of the acoustic guitar in France. I'm only talking about the guitar that we had in distribution at the time because, of course, this is a subject that directly relates to the history of life.
Gérard, if you'll allow me,
yes,
I would like to point out an important fact. From the 2000s, Algam became an undisputed leader in the distribution of musical instruments in all categories. But tell me, what is the point of developing light acoustic guitars if you were lucky enough to have three of the most prestigious acoustic guitar brands in Algam's catalog among so many other prestigious brands?
It's a very good question, Antoine, and I'm glad you asked it, because my answer will explain you the reason for the birth of LAG acoustic guitars, and above all, that's what concerns us today, the birth of our LAG factory in China, which I am very proud of. In fact, It all started thanks to Fender. In 2008, Fender bought Kaman, the American company that had given us the distribution of Takamine Innovation, and took on the international distribution of Taylor at the same time. All of a sudden, I lost the entire catalog of our acoustic guitars that made us proud, but was also our strength in the market. Can you imagine how shocked I was?
I sure can. But then, how did you react to this very bad news?
Losing 10% of your sales when you were doing a great job was hard to digest. But I could understand and accept this brutal change. Business is business! We gained other brands to compensate quickly after, but nothing comparable, unfortunately. It was then that I got the idea to develop our own brand of acoustic guitars. We had no other choice, and on top of it, I had the benefit of a successful experience some 24 years earlier. I had a significant advantage as well, since in 2003, we had bought a small workshop that made electric guitars in a colorful region of the south of France, Occitanie. This brand had been created in 1981 by a talented musician named Michel Chavaria and was very well known to us in France. But here, manufacturing electric guitars and acoustic guitars are two different things. And we had to almost start from scratch, keeping in mind that the globalization had changed the situation considerably. This is why, after many unsuccessful outsourcing attempts, my son Benjamin and I decided to build our own factory. At the same time, we met Kurt Henrik, an American Lucy who had a dream to create a guitar factory in North China. This is how the dearest wish came true. Unfortunately, if Kurt turned out to be an undisputed specialist in electric machines and guitars, having worked for the greatest American brands, we realized that making acoustic instruments required a very different sensitivity. To be quite honest, it was no longer a dream we were living, but rather a nightmare. It was then that my son had a great meeting in the person of Steve Kim, a meeting that would make a world of difference. On my side, I had reconnected with an old acquaintance, Maurice Dupont, the famous French luthier. Steve Kim had the ideal profile to lead our manufacture. He had been the head of a very large Korean company with operations in Asia and the United States, and his knowledge of technology applied to the acoustic guitar, as well as his management skills, would allow us to take a new step forward. Moving from a 3,000 employee factory to a small structure of 140 motivated and dedicated people making high-quality instruments would become his commitment. The support of Maurice to improve production methods in the factory would prove very valuable and allow us to mass-produce instruments of exceptional musicality at a price that we wish to keep affordable.
Gérard, when you started to develop acoustic guitars under the Lac brand, I think you repeatedly asked yourself one question. Does the world need another guitar brand? What is your answer to this question today?
Well, the same as back then, except that today we are no longer in theory but in reality. So here is my answer. No, unless something appears that is new, different, attractive. So I wanted to create an original range of guitars with modern, pure and elegant lines with a very special care for design and the search for beauty in an area where, until now, aesthetics were not central. And that's exactly what we managed to achieve together. Steve at the head of our beautiful factory, Maurice with his fabulous know-how as meilleur ouvrier de France, which means best craftsman in France, an incredibly prestigious award. Robin, my precious accomplice in design. My son Benjamin is a talented coordinator with assistance by Frederic to successfully combine entrepreneurship and finances. And above all, a wonderful team in Wujing that I would like to congratulate particularly on this 10th anniversary of the opening of our factory for its loyalty, its involvement, and its real talent. And since you joined, my dear Antoine, it looks like there is like a wonderful alignment of planets. You and your team are gaining the trust of our distributors around the world and ensuring a follow-up of sales, allowing a more stable production, even increasing it nicely. A huge bravo to you all.
Gérard, I have one question left for you. The last one. But it is crucial. To shake up the global guitar market, didn't we need a true innovation?
Antoine, you are right 1,000 times over. After electroacoustic revolutionized the traditional acoustic guitar, it was not surprising that at a time when our old telephone had transformed into a brilliant smartphone, a similar phenomenon can finally be achieved with a guitar. I believe in the electroacoustic revolution. I strongly hope to attend the next revolution. But this time, not only as a distributor in France, but as a worldwide manufacturer. I was able to make this dream come true thanks to a brilliant inventor, doctor in vibratory physics, and also a musician, Adrien Mamou Mani. To quote an American magazine, I can say that the high-vibe system is developed after 7 years of research at the famous IRCAM in Paris is the greatest invention ever seen on an acoustic guitar.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Justin Johnson, and I've got the high vibe guitar in the studio today. This thing is really blowing my mind. It is by far just one of the most technologically advanced guitars I've ever seen, and it has some cool functions that honestly I never thought would be possible on an acoustic guitar.
Effectively, the instrument we are lucky to manufacture in our factory, the High Vibe, is the first smart guitar to ever exist. It's a revolution in the relationship between guitarists and their favorite instrument. This was made possible by Adrian's great innovation, as well as the exceptional commercial abilities of Matt Wolski, his partner, as an evangelist. We are now shaking up the guitar market on a global scale. This conquest, I'm telling you very loudly, it starts from there, from our factory. And if we can conquer the world, yes, we can. With this technological revolution, it's because you are doing a wonderful job. The quality of our guitars has become such that it makes it possible to integrate a high-end technological device in our guitars without any complex. Nothing would be possible without the level of quality we have now. This is why I want to say to all of you from the bottom of my heart, well done and thank you. And moreover, we are proud of you.
Souvenir, souvenir, je vous retrouve en mon cœur et vous faites refleurir tous mes rêves de bonheur. Je me souviens des soirs de danse, jour contre jour, des rendez-vous de nos vacances, quand nous faisions les fous. Souvenir, souvenir de nos beaux jours de l'été, quand nous partions cueillir mille fleurs, mille baisers. Et pour mieux garder dans ma tête les joies de la belle saison, souvenir, souvenir, il me reste nos chansons. parce que le ciel est trop gris. On dit que le temps vous emporte, et pourtant ça j'en suis certain. Souvenir, souvenir, vous resterez mes copains.